Am I live? Please let me know. Hello, hello. I see some people are online, but I'm not sure if everything is fine and if I'll be able to see the chat. Hi, Catherine. Yeah, I see the chat. Thank you so much for the coffees. I've seen them already. Thank you. Hello, hello. So today is the premiere, another premiere, and this is my first of the two virtuals for today. I have another one. Hi, Gail. Hi. I have another tour tonight in a. Let me think. It's gonna be in an hour and a half after this tour is over. That is in 2.5 hours from now, and this will be a premiere for World Virtual Tours. But as you know, well, I'm launching Solaraki Neighborhood Series for World Virtual Tours, and I always try to make my tours different. So let's see what happens tonight because it's actually gonna be after dark. Hi, Misha. Misha is here after dark, and it's gonna look different for sure. So we'll see. Let me show you around before we begin. That's a beautiful day. Not raining, not hot, just really beautiful, beautiful weather. Hi, Nathy. So this is where we're starting. It's a bit loud here. There's a lot of noise. There's a busy avenue here in the embankment of the Kura River, or Kvari River. Hi, Leslie. Hi. But soon we'll find ourselves in a quieter area. But as of now, I am using my headset. Please let me know if you can see any cars, if I need to adjust my microphone, my headset. And we start from these beautiful buildings over here. And we're going to be exploring a 19th century area. But it's going to be, well, this is like the first episode of several that I can really see coming in the next few weekends. Well, I mean, over the next few weekends. I'm not sure how many episodes there's gonna be. I don't want to rush. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you so much. I don't want to rush because there's so many stories, and um, I'm 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 really determined to share all of them with you. So from the description to the tour, you can read. I You can read the name of the place. Well, the neighborhood is called Chugureti. We haven't started yet, so I'm just warming up. So Chugureti, and you can already see the diverse architecture. Basically, we're just starting. Honestly, we have a couple more minutes before we begin. To make yourself comfortable, get yourself a drink. So the second tour for today will be after dark. It's gonna be solo lucky on my website honoryourguide.com. You can find my complete schedule because on the Guides Collective website, which has been almost down for about 2 weeks now, I think. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you for the coffee. So it looks like the site hasn't been working properly recently. But anyway, I don't publish all my tours there. So on my website, you can find my complete schedule. This is also where you can find links to subscribe to my socials. I haven't been posting regularly because of the heavy workload on my studies, which are over now. But I still can't get over the past year and a half of studying really, really hard. So there's been a lot to catch up on. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. So, and you can see, so this is the busy road over here. Well, it's Saturday. Local time is around 6 p.m. So it's not even the busiest it can get, obviously, because it's a weekend, but it's still a bit too noisy for me. Oh, goodness. That was quick. That Mercedes is really crazy. Okay, good. I think it's time to begin. Let me check. So feel free to send in your questions, comments. Okay, it's time to begin. So let me flip the camera. Hi everyone. Hello from Tbilisi, Gamarjobat, which means hello, and I'm wishing you a victory. So basically, even the greetings in the Georgian language, they actually already a wish for victory. So I would say this tour is charged, with ambitions to win, something like that. Anyway, so my name is Anna, and for those of you who haven't been much of my tours, because I don't see who's watching online, but also this tour is gonna be in open access on my YouTube channel. And if you're here, you know where to find my YouTube channel. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And so if you're new to my channel, so I am a tour guide to two countries now. Well, I'm a tour guide to St. Petersburg. I'm an official guide to Israel, and also, I'm currently residing in Tbilisi, Georgia, in the capital of Georgia, and I've been doing virtual tours of this beautiful city and actually beyond. But I will, I will announce some of my interesting tours and new premieres shortly. But as of now, let the tour begin. So where are we? Actually, we are, well, if you take a look over there, you can see this is a busy river. Well, I mean, not a busy, it's a fast flowing river. This is the river that you may know from my previous tours, the Kura River or Mtkvari. The river has two names. One of them, hi Ronaldin, good to see you. So one of them is the actually a name from a Turkic language because of the so many years of many times of this and this city and this country was taken over by Turkic peoples, well, by the Ottomans, by Persians. So many places actually have two names. So one of them is the Kura, and the other one is Mtkvari in the Georgian language. But it's one and the same river, one and the same. And over there, let me see if I can take you a little bit. Oh yeah, that's actually good. On my YouTube channel, you can find the recording of the I did last weekend. We went on top of that mountain over there, the Katsminda mountain. I'll zoom it in. And what we did get last time, last Sunday, we went on top of that mountain along that funicular over there. I'm showing it you with my finger over there. That's the funicular line. So we went on top of that 700-meter high mountain. It's the highest in Tbilisi, and we talked about that church. And now, so this was sort of the finale of my Solalaki neighborhood tours, and this is the new one that we are doing today. Thank you, Natalie. So for those of you who missed it, you can catch up with it still. It's on my channel. It was like 100-minute tour. We went up. Well, first of all, we did some, I would say, introduction in the neighborhood steps. Looked around the city, the beautiful views, and then we went down and watched already after dark. But now it's the new episode. It's the new series that I'm launching now. So welcome to the premiere. And now we're going to be exploring another 19th century neighborhood of Tbilisi. As you remember, Tbilisi is a city. It's 15 centuries old. After 1795, it was really, really badly damaged, almost burned to ashes. The city was rebuilt after that. In 1801, the city, Georgia, a big part of Georgia became part of the Russian Empire, and it just coincided with the same time when, hi Marilyn, good to see you, when the country and the seats would be rebuilt already in the times of the Russian Empire, and hence so many styles, so many buildings in European styles, and actually the city got its vibe, European vibe, exactly thanks to that. I mean, you can always look at things like you can always search for bad things or good things, but it's always a mix, I would say. And I would like to focus on some good things, some good heritage from the past, and it will be always referring to the present, of course. So soon we are leaving this busy embankment of Kura River. The neighborhood we're going to be exploring in the next several episodes is called Chugureti. Chugureti means, well, it's kind of a gorge or like a ravine, maybe a smaller gorge. And why it is called so? Well, because exactly over here we can see the Kura River, right? It's over there, and we will see it when we get closer to the bridge. And the mountains are over there. There are mountains also on the other side. Well, you can't see it from here, obviously, and well, now it happens to be actually the very, very downtown of Tbilisi. But I want to show you a photo taken in 1990s. And to do this, I kind of need to turn. I just recently bought a book. Luckily, it's in Russian, and it has some old photos. So it's just a picture I took from that book that I bought. Actually, so this is the Kura River before the embankment was built, before the, I would say, big civilization came to these lands. And well, you can see that's well, the neighborhood looks very different, but you can see the mountain from both sides. So actually, this is the same river, and over there, you can see a little bit to my right. That's the bridge, and the bridge is there. Chugureti. So what is this neighborhood? Well, it was established actually, not just rebuilt. It was established at times, well, the imperial times, and then it was rebuilt and rebuilt several times as well. And late 19th century, these type of buildings appeared, and you can see here just in one, I would say, square, 10 meters, you can find very different styles. So you can see this uh, pseudo Moorish architecture. Hi, Mary, good to see you. Hello, hello. And all these are residential buildings, but not just residential. Obviously, they are tenant houses. So these buildings belong to someone. Someone invested in their construction, and then someone. These landlords would normally be living in the same houses, and you can see that. Normally when you see the most ornate, windows, you can guess actually where the landlord used to live. Hi, Dolly. Good to see you. Shavua Tov. Over there, you see these windows are the biggest. So that's most probably the master's apartment. Most probably because the masters would normally have the best rooms, and then the rest would be rented out. Speaking of architects, well, obviously you can see the European influence. It's everywhere here, but again, it looks. You will see how different it is. But as of now, at just first glance, definitely it's a very European architecture. And unfortunately, there is not really too much information about every house, but we can definitely read something through it. This house, for example, was built by an architect of actually Polish descent. He was Polish, Alexander Sienkiewicz, and you may remember him because I mentioned him on the previous tour. I showed you a gorgeous building of the Court of Justice of Tbilisi, on the opposite side of the river, because we are now at the left bank. But the tours that I have been doing so far, they are all on the right side, on the right bank of the river. And Alexander Sienkiewicz, he was a Polish architect, and he was just one of several European architects that lived in Tbilisi, because in the 19th century, after Georgia became part of the Russian Empire, it actually all of a sudden became even a bigger melting pot than it used to be. Because you remember that Tbilisi was a trade city, has always been a trade city. Tbilisi is built crossroad of several trade routes, including the Great Silk Road as well. So we can imagine that merchants from all over would be staying here. And then, or in the times of the Russian Empire, a few other things happened. And as I'm taking you to the next spot, you can see where we are. You can see the area from here. As we're going a little bit higher, you see the river finally and the bridge. So a few other things happened. At that time, actually, I would say even before that, in in the late 1700s, in the Russian Empire, at that time, Catherine the Great was in charge. She was the empress of the empire, and she was Prussian. She was German. Do you remember? She had zero. I would say she had zero Russian blood, if you remember from my tours, and she encouraged her compatriots, German families, move to Russia and inhabit rural territories, because there were so many empty lands in Russia. Later on, when her grandchild was in charge of the country, Emperor Alexander, he continued to encourage the Germans to move to Russia, but those were already, I would say, more educated, well-established families that seeked more recognition. Let's say architects, some scientists that were given a lot. They were given, I would say, space, for experiments, uh, for self-improvement. So they would come. They would be settling here. So this is one thing. So some Germans eventually would reach the Caucasus region, because Tbilisi was the capital of the Caucasus region. And speaking of the Polish, and also for this, we have to go back to Catherine times. And this is very, I would say, not very flattering, not very nice part of the story, but it's history, so there's nothing we can do about it but just recognize and talk and remember, and not to make the same mistake again. At times of Catherine the Great, Poland was part of Poland, was annexed to Russia, actually 3 times. There were 3 wars, and of course, many Poles did not, well, didn't want to be part of Russia, and there were unrests, a lot of unrests, um, a lot of bloodshed, and those dissidents were captured. Well, those who were captured, and they would be taken to outer areas of the Russian Empire, away from Poland, away from the capital, St. Petersburg. Guess where they would be taken? To the Caucasus, to Tbilisi, so Tiflis at that time. So that's why, um, and obviously that side of the Kura River, this is where we had all those old city tours. This is what you can recognize. If I zoom it in, you can recognize that the Kartli monument, right? And so this is where we were. But obviously by that time, this area was really heavily inhabited, and there wasn't really much space for them, and they badly needed some other areas to live in. So that's why eventually they came to this side, to this shore of the river. And I'm looking for the Kartli monument to show you the photo, because obviously that's a bit too far, I would say, from here, so you can't really see well. If I have it, I'll definitely show you the photo. Just give me a second. Not sure if I have it. So the Dedikartli monument is a Soviet time monument. Kind of yeah, I have it. There you go. Sorry. So this is it. That's what it looks like. So that's exactly the opposite side of the river, on top of the Salalaki mountain range. Behind it is the botanical garden, where we had one tour. The recording is available. on my YouTube channel because this was my celebration tour when I learned I had passed successfully my Guardian exams. So that tour is there. You well feel free to watch it if you missed that. But that's all there. But the new story started here on the left bank of the Kura River. And so once Georgia became part of the Russian Empire, Tiflis became the capital of the Caucasus region. And obviously, the Romanovs sent here a viceroy. His name was Mikhail Vorontsov. I'll share his portrait with you as well. Actually, I'll be talking about him a lot in the next episodes. Let me start somewhere here, I would say. Yeah, that's better. So this is him, Mikhail Vorontsov. He was, of course, an aristocrat, educated, well-mannered, and obviously, when a country gets conquered, and then someone is sent to rule to kind of over like rule kind of and report and oversee the whole situation, you're not really happy. And of course, there were people who were not happy. And yeah, it's true. Obviously, I'm not saying that it was a good idea or a bad idea. It's just how it was. But the thing is that Vorontsov, when he came, he brought a lot of improvement to this area because you would have recognized the city before. It was Georgia was a very, I would say, uh, Oriental style. It was very Asian city. Actually, I would say it looked very Arab, Muslim, Ottoman, Persian kind because of all those invasions before that. But the Georgians actually, well, deep inside, they were Christians, and they kind of that was a big clash, I would say, like inner conflict also among the people. And then when the Vorontsov came, he brought a lot of improvement. Well, architects, engineers, people of all walks of life moved in, businesses, a lot of investment. And then the development of oil deposits, coal before that, many things, construction of the railroads, telegraph, many things started, in the 19th century. And that's why eventually all the efforts of Vorontsov were paid off, actually. And after his death, a monument was placed here to honor Vorontsov and his work. I will show you some old photos because you cannot see them here. There you go. So this is the monument that was erected by the Georgians, the people of Georgia. It was an initiative of Georgians, not the Romanovs, which kind of really shows the recognition. And you can see that that the house is still there. Well, the two houses from both sides are still here. Have a look. This one and that one. So the square was called Vorontsovskaya. Well, after him, he was Mikhail Vorontsov. That's the photo from behind, and actually the house to my right is actually the same house you can see in the photo. I'll show it to you over here. That's it. Now it's a restaurant. It's absolutely fantastic. All these buildings are still here, apart from the monument. And well, actually, I have here kind of a blended photo I found online. It's not my Photoshop work. I just found it on the internet, and there you go. So this is like the blending of the modern day and the past. Honestly, just the monument is missing, and maybe some photos. I mean, some cars shouldn't be here, I would say. But other than that, yeah, definitely. So it was the Mikhailovsky Square, Vorontsovsky Square. The area would actually change names several times. In 1920, when Georgia became, after the revolution in the Russian Empire, 1917, for 3 years, Georgia became an independent state. And the monument was taken down, also the initiative of Georgians, who were, of course, against the Russian influence. The bridge was also called the Vorontsovsky Bridge, Mikhailovsky Bridge, and I'll show you an old photo that I also found online. give me a second. There you go, the Mikhailovsky Bridge. This photo was taken in early 20th century. Actually, when this bridge was finished, it actually happened to be the biggest stone bridge in the entire Russian Empire. So that's the Mikhailovsky Bridge. A lot of people you can see, and you can also see the rails, right? So the rails were for the conchas, for the horse-driven carriages, which we have seen, well, on several tours. Well, the area was, the names were changed several times. I will also talk about it later. But now the bridge is called Saarbrücken Bridge and Saarbrücken Square. It's named after a sister city of Tbilisi, German city, German town of Saarbrücken. So the idea was to basically eliminate all the memory of connections, with the Russian Empire, and then so that's what we have. And now in the heart of the square, you can see a different monument. Actually, it's a modern monument. It's called the Braids of Time. I have good photos because I don't really see the point of Saarbrücken. Yes, yes, Natalie, that's right. That's right. I don't see the point of really running across the street, so I have really good photos from the internet. It's called Braids of Time. It's made from a soft local stone, and basically, this monument is here. It was kind of a contest run among modern artists of Georgia several years ago, and that monument won. So that artist won. I'll show you. And well, for the winners of the contest, so his name is Grigory Haniashvili. That's the artist and his work. So the well, it was a cash prize, and also he won the right of this monument to be standing in the heart of the square for 2 years. So it's Braids of Time. It's not, well, I actually think it's not really too bad, but not everyone likes it apparently. Okay, so now we can cross, and we'll be going through the arch of this monstrous, very, really, really monstrous building of the Soviet times. So right now, this square is, I would say, cross, kind of a the place where the so many styles converge. So we have seen pseudo Moorish style, pseudo Gothic style building over there, right? Then we see a modern monument. Then we see the houses from early 19th century, and then this Soviet architecture, monstrous, monstrous building. Well, the Stalin architecture, as you might remember from the tours, it was like, well, let me show you what I'm talking about, how monstrous this is, and how different it is from the nice two-floor buildings. That's yoo-hoo. Well, this Soviet architecture of that period is called like Soviet Stalin architecture, empire style architecture. Was all about the big size, the bigger the better, and no wonder that the Stalin empire style was later on changed to, I would say, quite reserved architecture, because after the Stalin's cult um, was finished, the Khrushchev and his team, I would say his administration, um, claimed that there was no need for extra decoration. The architecture was aimed to be purely functional and serve the functions of the people, just, basically very, very utilitarian. So that's why there was no more beautiful architecture, no more excessive decorations, like no decorations at all. So really, really boring. I mean, there's a lot of like modernistic, interesting things about the modernistic architecture, modernism architecture, but I would say I like it less. So now I would like this car to leave, and yoo-hoo, I'll be able to take you to this nice walking street. And I like it that at the corner we see this lovely early 19th century house. It definitely sets the tone, and the house just next to it has nice lions over there. Well, it's been restored. Actually, the street we're going to be walking tonight, and probably in the next episode as well, is has been restored recently. Well, this is a hotel, so obviously it needed some restoration. So there's a lot of work that's been done over the years. So you can see lion heads, also someone else, not sure. Well, they claim this was a very, I would say, meticulous, scientific restoration. So, well, let's rely on that. So that's the monstrous Stalin architecture. So basically, the Stalin's idea was kind of the reprocessing of the heritage of the uh, ancient Greek and Roman architecture with all those columns, with all those big porticos, big windows, arches, and it was just kind of taken to a modern level of those days, and just was meant to prove to show that Stalin kind of was also building an empire. That was kind of the idea. Well, but let's go back in time to the 19th century. So we find ourselves in a beautiful walking street. Now the area is called David Agmashenebeli Avenue. I know it's almost impossible to pronounce. I know it's taken me also a while, but if you know who I'm talking about, who this David is, it's not really a big issue. I want to show you. So you could say that the street is named after David the Fourth, the builder. There you go. Uh, David the builder. Agmashenebeli means the builder. So David the builder. This avenue is named after him, but that's the modern name, because this street in the 19th century was named after Vorontsovskaya Street. And in the Soviet times, of course, this name was a big no-no, because it was the memory of the imperial times of the Tsarist regime. So it was named after Plekhanov, the Soviet minister, and well, big thing. And actually, locals still, many people that I know, they still call the street Plekhanov Street, Plekhanov Street. So let's see what we have here. As you enter, what you see is Salve, which means welcome in Latin. In early 2000s, the street was restored, and then there was a big program, like I would say the city program, municipal program, and the first floors would be sent to business, would be sold to businesses, and many businesses were actually purchased um, by by people from Turkey and Iran. That's why it will be kind of I would say interesting clash here. You will see European architecture, you will see beautiful, fresh, restored buildings, and you will see that in them, in the ground floor, there will be the businesses, like Turkish cafes, uh, you know, uh, Oriental cuisine, this type of places. But as I said, mostly these businesses belong to the Turks, to Iranians, and also we will see several areas on the floor. These are will be actually this is the restored um, pavings from different periods. Well, this one is one of the most, I would say, recent. Just the small bricks. This type of bricks would normally be used in early 20th century, when there was a boom, I would say, of mass of the construction, like brick construction. Well, this is also modern design. We will see several kinds, of paving. Please let me know if the sound is fine, if the video is fine, if you have any questions. And on the top of the chat, you can see the pinned message. So these are the links and how you can thank me for the tour. It's either PayPal or buy me a coffee. And well, oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Ronaldin. It's great. So it's great that you could see me. Yeah, very decorative indeed. And what you see, so as I said, Tbilisi, yes, it definitely got this European architecture, but then you remember all those beautiful balconies. So these balconies, the wooden balconies, this is the detail, this is the Persian influence. Uh, so that's why Tbilisi, like even if it looks European on the facade, well, it might look entirely European, but normally what happens in the courtyard, it looks very, very, very Georgian with all those wooden balconies or the glass bands. We will see that a lot. So right now in the David Agmashenebeli Avenue, here in this like pedestrian uh, part of it, because it's only just part of the avenue that's been turned into into the like the walking street, or we'll see a lot of businesses, a lot of cafes, souvenir stores, some small galleries and stuff. That's what I was talking about. This is a different paving, and this is the trickiest one. Can we? Well, actually, yeah, we can see several areas in Tbilisi that has the same paving still, and I honestly cannot imagine walking like that. I mean, the stones here, they are put on their sides, not really the flat side, but the sides. I cannot. Well, I mean, it's I don't know. My legs hurt every time I walk on these pavings, and actually, the very similar paving you can find on some roads. And when you're in the car, it's giving you really really hard time, I would say. So what I was talking about, yeah, the building might look European. Well, this house is not really impressive, but over there you can see, yes, Ronald, you can see a balcony. So that's what I was talking about. It will it will still have this very very local Georgian vibe. So that's what I was talking about. So from the outside, it might look European, beautiful house and the classicism style or something, but then from behind it will have this beautiful shusha bandis, like the fully glassed balconies. Even sometimes with well, most of the time it would have the stained glass colored glass. Well, I think this is modern, and it's just a little part of it. So that's what you get. Beautiful ornate balcony. I think it's a small hotel now. There are many hotels. And then as we go, you will see so many beautiful houses, and they are so diverse. They look from classicism to Art Nouveau and Art Deco even. Like why? Well, does it mean there was no really a city plan? Actually, this area, because largely it was built by German or Polish architects, because of the reason, as I said, here actually would be a big Polish community living, and there was eventually formed the German colony called Neu-Tbilisi. So, yes, it actually was a very, very planned area. This is the only neighborhood in Tbilisi that actually has, I would say, straight lines, like vertical and horizontal lines, and like streets, avenues, alleys. It looks very, very proportional and very symmetrical. This is the only area that really has regular planning. Thank you, Dolly. The only area. That's because it was designed by Germans mostly, I would say. Obviously, if you go deeper, if you leave the main street and go deeper in the alleys, the buildings will look less, uh, I would say, clean and in poor conditions. But give it time. As I said, Georgia just needed about a decade to recuperate from the post-Soviet period, and you see that how much actually has been done. So it's only a matter of time before other houses will also be taken care of. But before I continue with the beautiful street, let me take you to the backyard. So that's what I'm talking about. All these balconies, all these terraces. We will see more of them as this tour goes, and also as other tours go. So all the life actually would be here, behind the ornate facades, I would say. So all the life would be here in the courtyards. Let's see. And it can go on and on and on and on. So that's the beauty of it. I mean, the facades are nice, but that's what you would normally want to see. This, you know, the core, I would say. Um, so when you see yourself in the streets or in the cities with such a yeah, hidden bits. Yes, Ron, you don't like that too. So when you see yourself in the areas with such a diverse architecture, where every building looks so different from from the one just next to it, different styles, different colors. So it's definitely this must be a trade city, and it is absolutely. So as I said, it would be, well, Tbilisi has always been, and that town Tiflis has always been a trade city, so there was a lot happening, and every store would always, well, would want to attract as many visitors as possible, potential clients, and also all these houses. So they were residential houses, they were tenant houses, which means that the ground floors would be for businesses, and the other floors for tenants. So it was all aimed. So all the investment needed to be paid off. So these were all businesses. Well, let's take a look at this house. Let me see. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There's lovely, lovely, lovely balconies. Absolutely, they are uniquely beautiful. So this house over here, actually, this is also late 19th century, early 20th century architecture, and this house actually belonged to. Thank you, Natalie. Yeah, sure, you'll be able to watch when you have time. Oh no, they use balconies, but well, they use balconies a lot. This is where the life is. Yeah, this is also where they dry the laundry. We will see it a lot. So over here, you see these beautiful doors, Art Nouveau style, right? And this house was very modern. It used this, um, well, not only not only has this ornate design, I mean, like floral motifs, soft lines, like very characteristic decorations. I mean, typical for the Art Nouveau style, but it also used, all the achievements of the modern architecture of those days. It had well, it had already like metal framing, so you could really have much bigger windows, much bigger rooms, pre-planning from the inside, so you can see that. And it belonged to a big businessman, Mantashev, Alexander Mantashev. I mentioned him a lot on my Saloniki tours, because this is where he had his mansion. He had his business school that he built for the locals. Well, he was one of the richest men. Well, actually, not even in the Russian Empire. I would say even beyond. Hi, Robert. Good to see you. You're a bit late. That's all right. You'll be able to catch up to catch on it. Yeah, absolutely. Later. Yeah, of course. As you know, my tours, I keep them in open access at least for some time, so you'll be able to see that. And make sure you don't miss my other tour tonight. It's gonna be in 1.5 hours after this tour is over. This is gonna be the first episode of my Solo Lucky series for World Virtual Tours, and this will be different from the previous Solo Lucky episodes, because this tour will be done at night after sunset. It's gonna look different. I'll show you some other spots that we haven't seen in the first, well, a long time ago. So let's see how it goes. It's gonna be kind of an experiment. Well, this building doesn't look very ornate, but it's a perfect illustration of that principle of making every tenant, every house a business. So the first, well, the upper two floors, the residential, thank you. So residential, and this is businesses. And also, as a part of restoration, they managed to find on some of the houses, they managed to find, well, the advertising, the names of the shops. For example, this one belonged to Omansky. I haven't been able to find what Omansky sold. Well, it was the passage, so the whole place belonged to Omansky, a certain Omansky. I haven't been able to find what exactly he sold, but I found his, but I found his name in the address book. So this person did exist. He did leave. Wow, beautiful. Well, now this area is empty. This shop is empty. Over here, well, I would say this really reminds me of many European towns, St. Petersburg, that I've been so terribly homesick about, and I just love the way, just love the way it looks. So this is very very typical early 19th century architecture, and but there is something I really want to share. I'm really desperate to show you, and I can't wait to take you there. This is also later on, closer to the end of the tour, I will be sharing with you. Just let me see what the time is. Very good. We have enough time. I will be sharing with you, and I'll be making some announcements. So that I really, really, really want to show you this beautiful Art Nouveau house. Look at that. Unfortunately, I can't really squeeze just the house in. It's bigger. It's bigger than the screen. So we'll be looking at it piece by piece. A monkey? Omansky. It's just the last name. I haven't been able to find what exactly he sold. He was selling. Yeah, Omansky. Oh, monkey. Well, but I know about this house. It didn't have shops, but it was a beautiful, very expensive tenant house in Art Nouveau style. Look at the decorations. Look at these beautiful Loreleis. So these like ladies' hats. They have the name, Lorelei, right? So the kind of a mermaid uh, that used to live in the Rhine River and kill all the sailors and fishermen, lure them with her beautiful voice to the into the depths of the Rhine River. So these Loreleis, and then over here, let's see all these beautiful decorations. So much, so many flowers, and even the color of the building, of the plasterwork, the green. Look at all these soft lines. Not a single straight line. So that's exactly the feature of the Art Nouveau style. Look at these windows. So all these pre-planning, before the Art Nouveau, before the 20th century, and 19th century, really beautiful. Look at the balcony, absolutely gorgeous, absolutely. Before Art Nouveau was well uh, came. Well, the previous, kind of architecture, the advancements, they were, well, I would say the architects were kind of really, really restricted in terms of what they could build, because they had to have, like the supportive walls, right? And with the walls, you kind of were limited to the size of the rooms that you could build. But then, with the new kinds of metal, with the new metal constructions invented in the late 19th century, in this industrial revolution period, obviously this was all directly, immediately implemented in architecture, and this gave us not like the supportive walls, but the supportive metal frames, which basically enabled the architects, like actually gave them freedom for free planning. There was no more need for enfiladed rooms, like the chain of rooms, which was never really convenient. It was always like really horrible living in just the connecting rooms. But then, You could have whatever size of windows, because also they knew how to come up with bigger, I would say, bigger sizes for the glass works. So all of that implemented, but again, you can see there's definitely call for, return to nature, because at that time, with all those advancements in technologies, the artists kind of felt the people was actually leaving behind, while getting away further and further from nature, and that's how they kind of try to reconnect with nature. That's, I would say. So that's the idea of the Art Nouveau style, combination of really modern advancement, but yet they needed to still connect with the nature, not to lose touch with the nature. Okay, so the exciting part begins. Let's go. So remember the backyards. No matter how European the backyard looks, the life is, well, I mean, no matter how European the facade is, the life is in the backyard. And that's what I was talking about. That's the backyard. So you can see the open balconies and the glass bands. So the long lines of glass terraces. But still gonna have personal get together. Yeah, of course, Robert. But most of the time weather is good and dry. You may remember that all these type of backyards are called Italian courtyards. There are no courtyards like this in Italy. So it's actually the name that originated here in Georgia. But the idea was vibe, the vibe of this courtyard was just like in Italy, like in Italian neighborhoods, busy, noisy, people interacting to one another, like being loud, talking to everyone, yelling from one side of the house to the other, like they have the saying. Actually, a local guide shared that kind of shared that story with me, and actually, well, I really like that. So they have this kind of thinking here that if you like, if the family is talking, it's either no one is supposed to hear it, or everyone around is supposed to hear it. And I believe that these courses are actually exactly for this purpose. So if you don't want people to hear it, you go back, you go into your home, into the house. But if you want others to hear, well, then that's where you do that. The floor is yours. So I remind you that we are, exactly in the courtyard of that beautiful Art Nouveau building. And it was commissioned by this gentleman over here, Georgi Kartvelishvili. Interesting name. Luckily, I'm already able to translate what his last name actually meant. So Kartvelishvili actually means son of Georgia. Shvili means son, and this is a part of many Georgian last names. Kartli, Kartli is actually the name of the regions and the peoples that live in that region, Kartli. One of the endonyms for Georgia is actually Kartli, which comes from the name of the region, Chugureti. Yeah, Chugureti. I mentioned it. Well, yeah, you joined a bit later. So, but yeah, I mentioned the name of the area, Chugureti. Chugureti. It means gorge or ravine, like a small gorge, because the area is located just in the gorge of the Kura River. When the tour started, you will see it when you watch the recording. So the tour started along the embankment of the Kura River. And Kartvelishvili, he was a big patriot of Georgia. He loved his country very much. And he's a rich man. He invested a lot of money in the preservation of Georgian heritage. For example, with his money, with his own money, he sponsored the big publishing campaign of the most important literature work of all Georgians, that is the Knight in the leopard skin. uh, yes, thank you, Robert. Yeah, the backyard is absolutely gorgeous, absolutely. uh, Well, I will get back to the knight and the leopard skin, but let me show you also. And in his house, he also wanted to show his love of Georgia. But they have built in a house in the Art Nouveau style. It was obviously a business. It was a business, so it was a big trend in that days, and he knew he would get bigger clients, richer clients. So that was good. The facade was meant to sell, but the heart was here in the courtyard. And his way to show his love of his country was to build this part of Georgia, well, like of this kind of tower. It's the imitation of the watchtowers that are really, really widespread in the northern mountainous area of Georgia called Svanetia. In Svanetia, and well, I really, really badly want to go there, but it's really far from here. It's like half a day trip, just one way. They have this. Hi, Ashrit. They have these watchtowers, and they're still there. Svanetia, high in the mountains, really high, up north. So these watchtowers are still there. Yeah, and this was, kind of a, a tribute to those Svanetian towers in Tbilisi that is really, really far from Svanetia. But that's kind of I would say, tribute. And so they speaking of the knight and the leopard skin, I probably need a whole tour, just to talk about that piece of literature work by Shota Rustaveli. But basically, the what well it's the most important literature work. It's what I think every Georgian is already born, knowing a couple of lines, because like in Russia it's like about the same. We have Pushkin, Alexander Pushkin, Russian poet number one. And by the way, they know Pushkin here as well, and there is even a street and a square named after Pushkin, Alexander Pushkin. But there is like a big epic poem. And so Kartvelishvili, him, Georgi Kartvelishvili. So he sponsored the illustration of this work, and it was done by an artist, a Hungarian artist, Mihai Zici, whom I mentioned in the previous tour. I mean, the one where we took funicular. We walked along the Maryland. So this is just how it goes. They dry their laundry here on the balconies, in the courtyards. Yeah, that's how it works. Exactly. There's also basketball, uh, kind of a not sure what the word basketball ground. So Mihai Ziche, he was actually a court artist. He was invited by the Romanovs. He was hired, and he lived in Russia. He did all these state portraits of the Romanovs. He made the illustrations of the coronation ceremonies of several of Russian monarchs, and he also traveled to Tbilisi. And he was very expensive, but Kartvelishvili could afford that. So there were a lot of illustrations, like dozens of illustrations for this for this poem. It's just one of them. There's also color. There were also the colored versions. Well, this is Shota Rustaveli himself, the author, who was also the minister during the reign of the Tamar, Queen Tamar, or better say King, because the Georgians called her King Tamar because she was the woman, with an iron fist, I would say. So a very strong and wise ruler of the country at that period. So that was the thing. So he indeed, Kartvelishvili did a lot for his own country. And one more thing to talk about here in this courtyard. And it's kind of also a way for me to announce my new premieres. Well, a couple of tours I'll be doing starting from next weekend. That's here. Oh, actually, there's something else to show. Obviously, this house has been restored, and they're actually planning to open a hotel, at least in some of the rooms. It looks like it. And quite recently, they also restored the rooms inside. And there are some photos that a guide shared with me. I mean, it's no big deal showing them. You can find them also online. It's just look at that. So that's the interiors inside this house. Well, the stove looks beautiful. And well, this one again, it's original, just restored. These are photos. Beautiful, isn't it? And if the facade looks Art Nouveau, it actually can be any style inside. Nobody would limit you. It could be anything. And it's starting to rain. Luckily, I can hide from the rain. But before, I want to show you this birdie. Had this bird had two heads, you would have guessed easily that this is the bird from the coat of arms of Russia, double-headed eagle. But like, yeah, Marilyn, it is outstanding. Thank you so much. But this bird has one head because this is the Kaiser's bird. This is the German bird because, as I said, there were so many European German architects and actually Germans living, and this bird used to be on top of the house. It looks like so the architect was well, actually, it's not clear whether this bird was actually on top of this house or somewhere around. It was just found in the backyard. Obviously, in the Soviet times, all these birds from German houses would be taken down, and normally they would crash, obviously, into pieces. But some have survived, and you'll find more of them as the well in the next tour. But anyway, so some have well, some of them have been put on their place. Some are just in the courtyards, like this one. So this birdie, and let's do it this way. So this birdie, and the laundry, and the laundry, the bird and the laundry and me, and it's starting to rain, but that's totally fine. So this bird is the symbol of Kaiser Germany. And I mentioned when the tour started that a lot of Germans actually, well, first there was this like official like Romanov campaign started by Catherine the Great, and also continued by Alexander, her grandson, Emperor Alexander, the one that defeated Napoleon. Uh, yeah, exactly. I wish I had a pool somewhere here. However, the weather is not really um, suitable for a swim in the pool. Some other time, I think in a week it's gonna get pretty hot already, so it's gonna be, yeah, exactly the pool kind of weather. So, and this was like when the first, I would say, big, big like settlements of Germans originated in the Russian Empire, and many of them would be sent to the Caucasus region. And then there was another thing that happened in Germany, actually in Europe, that pushed a lot of Germans leave Europe, and some of those people came to the Russian Empire, and they were given the territories in the Caucasus, in Tbilisi, and around the city. So next weekend, I think it's I think it's going to next weekend. I don't remember which exactly day it is, which day it will be. But I'm launching my series on the German colonies in Georgia, and I'll be taken to the first German colony called Asureti. It was called Elizabeth Tull, and well, I went there and filmed everything for you, and I will share with you why we have German colonies here in the Caucasus, all the way far from Germany. And I don't know, it's also coincided with me doing so many episodes of German colonies in Israel. Actually, tomorrow I'm doing just one more episode where I'll be taking you to the German colony in Jerusalem, where we have already been to, but we haven't seen the area I'll be showing you this time. And also we'll wrap this up by showing by actually going to the cemetery, the Templar Cemetery. Thank you so much, Ronaldine. So I will tell you why, how, and what would happen to all this German heritage, to all those German families at the time of the First World War, Second World War, and what's come of those places. We will see some German architecture next time. Well, actually, next week, and we'll see the church built by Germans. Many things, many things. And I would see like it's really, really timely that I'm doing these German colonies in the Holy Land and now in Georgia. There's like really, really a lot of research that I've done, and I really can't wait to share it with you. So this is it for the colon person, I guess. Yeah, but not the colonizer for sure. I don't like colonization, but I like traveling and researching. That's I would say this is the part of it. So thank you so much for joining me for this tour. The next episode of Chugureti tours is already scheduled for next weekend. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. And so let me see. Yeah, it's time to wrap this up. And the next episode is already on my website, anayagar.com. So this is where you can find links for. Oh, interesting. Wow, Marilyn, so many German colony tours. Yeah, so many German colonies in different parts of the world. This is true. It's very interesting, really, really big deal, very interesting, very complex phenomenon to study from different angles. Very interesting, very interesting. Thank you for sharing. Actually, I didn't know there was one in Texas. Wow, all the way to Texas. Goodness. Anyway, so on the website you can find my complete schedule. And in an hour and a half from now, you are all invited to Sillalaki. I'll be doing a tour for both virtual tours. And as you know, I try to make my tours different if I repeat them. So let's see how it works. Sillalaki by night. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you 90 minutes from now. And of course, I will wrap this up by showing you the bird once again. I want to show you the bird. Let's see the bird. There you go. Thank you so much, Robert. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for the coffees and PayPal's coming in as well. Thank you for your support. And I'll see you in 90 minutes. And this tour will be available shortly for everyone to watch it. Yes. I'm trying like to find a better angle so not to show the laundry, but it looks like it's inevitably anywhere, everywhere. Bye bye. Thank you so much. Okay. Woohoo.